All right. So I want to talk about the Overwatch state and Overwatch 2. From a perspective of a main tank player, and also like a perspective of the middle ranks. Like plat, gold, silver, and bronze. Like the lower tier ranks, which is where the majority of the players reside. And I want to try to represent those players in a sense. Um, I want to first touch on Overwatch 2 and the news are coming out with it. I'm not sure Overwatch is gonna. I really love this game. I really do. I think it's a great game and whatnot. But I'm not sure Overwatch is going to survive with the rate it's going at, with its updates and its things, going to survive into Overwatch 2. Especially with the news that Overwatch 2 is probably not coming out this year. It's probably coming out next year. And it's just it's just bad. It especially since we're barely getting any updates, we're barely getting any meta changes. We're barely we just got a patch, fair enough, but like we're barely getting any new things. Like sure we get like an extra skin and the map's coming out, but I mean I don't think that's not enough to keep the player base intact. Like straight up, this last Halloween event we had the I think the fourth or the fifth Junkerstein Revenge in a row. The winter events, they really weren't that interesting to me. I kind of ignored them. They never really do anything. Like for example, you know, I think that if Overwatch 2 wants to have any good hype, then they have to hype it up with Overwatch. The developers have to wake up, realize that oh shit, our game's going to die, especially since we're not available to release this game. And like Blizzard is a big ass company. Like they're really big. Like why can't they like add more developers? Just keep like putting more money into Overwatch to hype up their game so it actually survives. It really doesn't make much sense. I know COVID-19 has really changed up. It's an unprecedented year and whatnot. But that doesn't really mean that they can't um try like their hardest, like put a lot more effort into Overwatch, not just Overwatch 2. They just gotta keep this game alive, and at the rate it's going, I don't think it's gonna be kept alive. And it's really sad for me to say this, right? Because I really do. I love this game. Um, so that's the state of Overwatch 2. I want to move on to the meta and where Overwatch right now is, like in meta wise. The recent patch came out that nerfed Sigma, 0.25 shield and whatnot, and then Hanzo got a buff. I don't know why. Hanzo was a really good character, really balanced it. I don't think they had to change or buff him because he had a good play rate, especially in my rank. Like my ranks, I see a lot of Hanzo players. Um, and I really don't think they really had to buff Hanzo. Ball, Sigma, great nerfs. I think probably one of the best balances I've seen since no, since the new meta has rolled around. I think most of the tanks are in a decent place. Like I really like how Hog's in a really good place right now. Sigma just got into a pretty good place where I try to play Sigma one game and it just I'm not that good at Sigma, and and it showed, and I really like that because whenever I wasn't that good at Sigma before, and when I played him during the meta, I still got kills, I still did good, but now you actually have to be really good at Sigma to play him good. You don't just have to be mindless and just suck and rock and just put up your shield randomly in like 2 seconds, so it blocks every bit of thing coming at you. Um, from a main tank perspective, I obviously want my main tanks to be good. Right, I'm a Ryan main, right? I do like the buff to Ryan's damage, but that just isn't enough. There's so much damage coming onto Ryan's shield that in 3 seconds, literally in 3 seconds, it's broken. It's not funny, and it's really not fun to play Ryan anymore. And that's why I kind of just stepped away from tanks. I'm like, okay, I got this okay-ish SR. I'm gonna move on to more fun DPS characters and more fun healer characters. Tank right now is not fun to play, especially since I'm not good at off tanks. I'm really good. I'm pretty my best is at main tanks, and it sucks because Reinhardt is just like everyone's bitch and just getting pummeled and pummeled and pummeled and pummels. And, there's nothing you can do about it. Especially since, characters like Arisa and Sigma can just, like, put down a shield and shoot. Ryan has to fucking. And even Winston can put down a shield and shoot. Ryan has to hold shield or swing. So I think the only way to put Ryan back into, like, a good spot is to buff his shield. And I know that might worry some people, like, oh no, is shield meta coming back? Honestly, I don't think it would if you buff Ryan Shield maybe like 1800 back to 2000. It would just be able for him to get through chokes. And honestly, I feel like what Overwatch is where Overwatch is best at is Ryan Zarya. Like that combination. Or, Winston Diva. Those two combinations, Dive and Brawl, are when I'm having my best time in Overwatch. Because it's the most fun time to play. Tank is the smallest category, but it brings out the most. Like, it changes the meta the most. So I think you just gotta buff Ryan. So I like the nerfs on Sigma and Ball. Really good. Ball's pretty good, at least in, where I am. He's not too overplayed anymore since the nerf. I don't really see Sigma that much. Now let's move on to Arisa. Arisa's garbage. I don't know how else to put it. She's garbage. I never see her play. When I do see her play, we just get rolled. And I'm telling him, switch. But no, they think that double shield are still good now, especially with the... It's whatever. Sigma, Arisa's bad. I think you either need to buff up the shield. I think, yeah, you definitely need to buff up the shield on Arisa. She's just not viable, especially with the aggressiveness of Overwatch. You can't really just put down a shield and just keep it there, That's very difficult to do. So maybe decrease the cooldown on the shield or buff up the shield. Let's move on to Zarya is really balanced right now. I like Zarya. I don't think there's too much to complain about her. She's been balanced for a lot of the game, Everything. I just like her. I just like her, There's nothing wrong with her. And she's not too difficult, but she's not too easy. Winston. Winston's just getting... Winston is a really fun character to play. And I'm really, really sad that you just don't want to help Winston out. Either by buffing his shield, decreasing his cooldowns, or, buffing up his damage. Especially when Overwatch is really fun playing Dive. And yeah, I think Winston should really, really be buffed. Like, the next patch, Ryan Winston Arisa main tank buff, I would not complain. I would be like, oh shit, Overwatch is actually listening to its player base. Main tanks need to be buffed. They do. They absolutely do. I want to move on to DPS. I don't really have too much to talk about DPS. Whenever I play DPS, it's really fun. I think a lot of the characters are balanced. I think Echo needs a bit of a nerf. She's a bit too easy to get combo kills. I don't really see anything wrong with the DPS. They did really good balancing the DPS for now. At least from my perspective. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention Diva. Diva's just an ult battery. She's not really doing that well. I think they just need a buff Dive in general. Winston Diva need to be buffed. I like the 300 shield. The 300 armor. But that isn't really going to do much, especially since CC is, like, so prevalent, I want to go on to healers. Healers, there's, like, some broken healers, and then some really good healers. Like, Ana, I think her kit is amazing. I think you shouldn't just change. You should never change Ana. She's good as she is right now. Brigitte. Okay. So, there's Hitler, and there's Brigitte. Brigitte is... Why would you introduce... Okay, here's the thing. Whenever you introduce a character, and she's so powerful, that instead of nerfing her, or putting her somewhere else, like just vaulting her, you have to change the core value, like the core thing of Overwatch, from open queue to 2-2-2-2. So because Brigitte is so fucking powerful, it makes no goddamn sense why you would keep Brigitte in that sense. She is the most overpowered character and healer. Well, not the most over. I think she's tied with Baptiste, but I'll get to Baptiste later. Or she's not. I'll explain it later. Brigitte, I would cheer for Brigitte's vaulting. I think she needs to be either completely reworked or removed. Because a healer is not supposed to be on the front line. They're not. It's one of the core values about healers being the back line. and healing the teammates. But if you have a motherfucker in the front line where she has a 5-second CC cooldown that completely destroys someone, and she has a shield, 250 HP shield, which makes no goddamn sense for a healer, by the way. I know, just put her as DPS at this point. You know, buff her damage, get rid of her healing, or maybe get rid of her healing, but buff up her armor, and give her a better shield, and put her in the front lines as a DPS. I wouldn't complain. But if you're as a healer, you already have so much CC in the game. It's just not fun. You're never gonna have a fun time playing against Brigitte. All right, you're never. I want to move on to Baptiste because I want to talk about him. See, Baptiste, the only thing I have an issue with him is his immortality field. See, when an ability on cooldown can literally block 3 ultimates at the same time, or something along those lines. You could easily block Dragon, McCree ult. You could kind of block Grav because you can't really get killed when you put immortality down, so you can just keep on healing them. When you can block all, like, even like if you just say, if like you have like nano Ryan and you put immortality down, you're gonna stay alive for like 5 more seconds, and that's bullshit. Okay, if your ability on cooldown can block 3 fucking ults, then you have an issue. See, I actually kind of have an idea on how you can fix that. I think the easiest way to fix that is that shields block the immortality field. It's simple, you know, because like shields can block Lucio, you know. What else can block? I don't know. I just think that to get shields back in meta and just get rid of the idea of like 2 off tanks, which is a terrible idea, and bring back a main tank and a off tank meta. You know, like what Overwatch is supposed to be. Baptiste, immortality fields, shielding, like, you know, like being blocked by shields. Like if you put a Ryan shield up, or like a Sigma shield up, or a Winston shield up, and it's blocking the line of sight of the immortality, or the Baptiste is inside the shield while he has an immortality up, not inside the shield, then like he can die, like the immortality's just gone. I feel like that would perfectly balance the immortality fields. It would bring back more of a deity comp, and I think it would definitely help Overwatch a lot. Zenyatta, I think he's finally balanced hero. I have nothing really to complain about him. He's a skilled. You have to be really skilled to play him, and I think he's great. I think he's a great hero. Other healers, Mercy. I just don't like playing Mercy. The thing is, Mercy's just a really boring character to play. Simple as that. Mora. See, the thing about Mora, she's kind of like Mercy, but like more DPS-y. Which, I mean, isn't fun. But I don't think she's really that much of an issue, at least from what I'm seeing. She's really not that much of an issue. I think, honestly, in the end, I think you should buff shields, nerf healers like Baptiste and Brigitte. I think you should try to really buff those main tanks. Really buff those main tanks because, you know, main tanks is part of the core of the game. You know, you can't expect to have a good game and like a good, you know, Overwatch game and have just fucking deathmatch. You know, it's not really that fun. It's a team-oriented game, and Overwatch right now is losing that team-oriented, you know, team-oriented stuff that it used to have. You know, when you can just flank his hog and go to the back line and get like a fucking healer kill and then just get away without anything being done to you. No punishment for that. You know, if you're a good hog. Then that's just not really the most fun game to play, you know? I definitely think Overwatch is heading in the right direction. What I think it needs to do right now is just buff tanks, nerf Brigitte and Baptiste, especially Immortality. And, you know, just keep looking at the game and see how they can fix that. And that's pretty much it. I don't really have much else to say. Thank you guys for watching, and yeah, see ya.